Now the next one that we'll be looking at will be the cumulative frequency curve. Okay, the cumulative frequency curve. Now for the cumulative frequency curve, what it does is that it also helps us in finding, let's say, the various measures of central tendency. All right, like the median, the quantiles, the percentiles. Okay, so for the cumulative frequency curve, it makes it very easy to determine the 50th percentile, that's the median. All right, and other percentiles like the 20th, the 25th, and the 75th percentiles. Right, now it also helps in comparing two distributions. All right, and it also helps us in understanding, or let's say determining the number of values above, or let's say below a certain threshold. Right, and just like the frequency polygon, it's also good, but it also helps us in identifying skewness of data. So it helps us in identifying the shape of a distribution. All right, whether it's a bell shape signifying normal distribution, or it helps us to understand whether the distribution is skewed to the left or skewed to the right. Okay, now in, let's say, in business decision making, one thing it also does is that the Ogive, or the cumulative frequency curve, it helps businesses to analyze cumulative sales. All right, so cumulative sales can be cumulative cost, or let's say cumulative profits over time. Okay, now over here we will look at the various steps in constructing the cumulative frequency curve. Now manually, these are the steps that we go through. All right, so we go straight to our Excel file, and with this data, what we are going to do is that we compute the cumulative frequency curve. So the first thing we are going to do is that we compute our midpoints. Okay, so with our midpoints, we know that is the upper class boundary, so the upper class boundary minus the lower class boundary divided by 2. Okay, so I'll just enter my formula for the cumulative frequency. So equal to my left, this minus, sorry, plus the right, so plus the upper class boundary. Okay, let me see if I'll get it. So the same one, divided by 2. I hit enter. All right, so my midpoint, oh wow, oh sorry, so over here it has to be B39, so it has to be B39. Okay, this plus this 10 divided by 2. Oh, okay. 839 to, all right. Okay, so I'll go ahead and compute my frequency, cumulative frequency. All right, so this equal to this plus this, and I can scroll down. All right, so I have my cumulative frequency and I have my midpoint, so I can go ahead and compute and draft my cumulative frequency curve, or Ogive. All right, good. So I have my cumulative frequency curve over here. All right, so I can go ahead and, so let me, one that looks like a graph. Okay, all right, so I have my cumulative frequency curve. So my cumulative frequency curve. All right, so that's how you go about compute or drafting the cumulative frequency curve in your Excel. All right, so now we're moving on to our last representation tool that we have. So that's the Lorenz curve. All right, now what the Lorenz curve does is that the Lorenz curve, it helps to, or it's an extension of the Ogive, and it's used to show the distribution of wealth or income among a population. All right, so what it does is that we will compute, or we graph the percentage of wealth against let's say the cumulative percentage of a population. All right, now what it does is that the main user stated over here is that the Lorenz curve is used to determine the fairness of income distribution. Okay, so what it does is that now it has various purposes or various uses, right? And it is used purposely for distribution of wealth, and it can help us in measuring inequality between wealth distribution or income distribution. It can help us to compare the wealth distribution between countries over time, all right? And it can also help in designing policies based on the wealth distribution. Okay, now we have an illustration that we'll be dealing with. Okay, but first of all, let's look at the various data that we have over here. So we have population data over here, we have the income before tax, we have the income after tax over here. All right, so this is the population and income distribution of Agogo State before and after tax application is given. Alright, so we have to draw a Lorenz curve and comment on the effectiveness of the tax system. So over here you can see that we are looking at how effective the tax system is. Alright, so we'll go straight to the point and draw the Lorenz curve in Excel. Okay, so we have our data over here for drawing the Lorenz curve. Alright, so what I'm going to do is that the population shouldn't be like this, so let me just reduce the decimal point. So let me clear the decimal points over here. Alright, so we have our population over here, we have the income before tax and income after tax. So what I'm going to do is that I'll first compute the percentage of the population, then we'll compute percentage of the income before tax and percentage of the income after tax. Then after everything, we compute the cumulative percentage of population, cumulative percentage of income before tax, as well as cumulative percentage of income after tax. All right, so before that I have to compute the totals. All right, and that shouldn't be a problem for us. So my alt equal to will do the job. I can just drag it through it. Okay, so my percentage of the population, that will be equal to, so this population divided by the total, and I have to hit F4 since I'll be dragging through, times 100. Alright, so this gives me 0. Okay, so let me reduce the decimal places since I'm dealing with population. Okay, so okay, I have 8, I have 17, 12, 6, 3, 2. Okay, then I move on to compute the percentage of total income before tax. So percentage of total income before tax, that's also equal to, so the same formula. All right, so this divided by the total times 100. Okay, so as usual 0, this give me 5, 10, 12, 13, 15, 25, and 20. Okay, let me reduce the decimals, otherwise I'll keep going back and forth. And I'll do the same for, okay, so let me I'll do the same for the percentage of income after tax. All All right, so equal to bracket this divided by the total times 100. So that gives me 15 throughout. Okay, now what we're going to do is that I'll compute, after computing the percentage of each of the variable, the population, income before tax and income after tax, and I'll go ahead and also compute the cumulative. All right, so the first one that I'll be looking at will be the cumulative population, or the cumulative percentage of the population. All right, so I'll compute the cumulative. Okay, come in. So I think something is missing. I'm coming. Let me check the data. Okay, so 225. Okay, so I entered the wrong figure, so we have 900, not 300. So let me just change it. So this is supposed to be 900. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. All right. Now the next thing we'll be looking at, we'll be computing the cumulative population. All right, so the cumulative percentage of population. So I'll go ahead to my population, then this will be equal to this plus this, then I can just go ahead and drag it down. Okay, and I can also do same for this, the accumulative, or the cumulative percentage of income before tax. And I can also do same for this. Let me just copy the formula and see if it will work. Yeah, it works perfectly. Let me see this. Okay, let me copy the formula. So we can copy and paste formulas also. Okay, perfect. So it's working. So I can just drop it down, and I also have this. Now with these figures, we can go ahead and compute our cumulative, our Lorenz curve. All right, so in doing that, I'll select these figures, the three figures over here, and I can come to my chart, my more recommended charts. Good, so we have it over here. All right, now so we have our Lorenz curve over here. So let me give it a title. Lorenz curve. Okay, so we have our Lorenz curve over here. All right, so we have the population over here on the vertical axis, then on the horizontal axis we have the income before tax and the income after tax. Now this orange bar over here shows us the accumulative percentage of income after tax, and this one shows a cumulative percentage of income before tax. Okay, so if you look at our diagram over here, so this is the exact diagram that we have in Excel. Now when we come here, so you can see that the blue represents the percentage of what before tax, and the red is the red. Okay, and the red represents the percentage of what after tax. You can see that this shows that after the tax application, the cumulative percentage worth curve modeled towards the line of equality, indicating the tax system ensured fair distribution. So that's what can be seen over here. So right here we don't have our line of equity with the 45 degree or 45 degree line, so let me use the one in the diagram. So over here, all right, if you look at this, all right, from the origin to the peak, or to the side over here, you can see that the blue one is the percentage of worth before tax, and this after tax. So you can see that while the tax system was applied, we can see the worth distribution moving towards the line of equity. all right, as stated over here. As stated over here, all right, indicating that the tax system ensures a fair distribution. So just like we mentioned the use of the Lorenz curve, we mentioned that it helps us in determining whether there is inequality within a system, all right, or let's say the unfairness within the distribution of income. Now we have one last illustration that we'll look at for the Lorenz curve. So we have this over here. Okay, so we have the revenue office of Astoy district present the following table on the percentages of total wealth before and total wealth after tax owned by various percentages of population. Draw a Lorenz curve and comment on the effectiveness of the tax imposition. Okay, so over here we have the percentage population, percentage income before tax, and the percentage income after tax. Okay, now you can see over here, just like we did for the first illustration, you have to compute the percentage of the total population. Okay, then you move on to the other ones. So with these ones also we can plot them on in Excel, but I'll leave these ones to you so that you can also practice your hands on this. Okay, so with these ones we have the solution over here. So this is how the Lorenz curve will look like. Okay, this is how the Lorenz curve will look like. Okay, so with this one you can see that the green curve presents the percentage of wealth. So this is the green one. So this one is before the tax. Okay, before tax. And the blue one, distribution of wealth after tax. So this depicts that the cumulative percentage would move towards the line of equity, indicating that the tax system ensured a fair distribution. Okay, all right, so kindly take time and work or draw a Lorenz curve for this illustration, the illustration 2 over here. All right, and if you have any questions or any suggestion, you kindly leave them in the comment section. All right, so thank you very much for joining the first lesson. See you in the next one. Bye bye.